1983 with the IBM Corporation. I started my position on Cobb Parkway at the headquarters for the division, and I met many other IBMers. They, at the time, had a group called the Concerned Citizens of Cobb County. So I asked them what were their concerns. They said just wanted to make sure that equal rights, because at that time there were having some issues in terms of where the houses were being shown to certain people in terms of Cobb County. But I also recognized that the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday was not being observed in Cobb County. So there was a group called Concerned Citizens of Cobb County. I went to the leaders of that group, most of them were IBM employees, and asked them if they would be willing to change the name to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Support Group. They said they would. But to do that, I would have to have permission from Mrs. Coretta Scott King to do that. So I went and met with her and asked her if I could use Dr. King's name as the support group. She gave me permission, came back to the group, and we changed the name from Concerned Citizens of Cobb County to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Support Group. Then I went to Dr. Phil Sechrest, who was the chair of the Commission of Cobb Counties, and asked him if he would consider passing a proclamation to honor Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. He said he didn't know if he would, but why don't I talk to Commissioner Thea Powell, and she could work with me to see if we could get that passed. So I said, okay. I went and talked to Commissioner Powell. She said she was very interested in helping me do that. And at the time I said, well, we also need to get the city of Marietta to observe the holiday as well. She said, well, we will go talk to Mayor Vicky Chastain. So we went and talked to Mayor Vicky Chastain, and both of them agreed that they would help me do it. The first year, which was 1988, was really kind of rocky because the celebration that year didn't go very well, and some of the leadership of Cobb got up and walked out of the celebration. But we stayed the course, and then the next year we kept working, 88, and on January 16th, 1989, I stood on the stage at the Civic Center between Mayor Vicky Chastain and Commissioner Thea Powell, and they read the proclamations granting the national holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I came out of a coal mining town with dirt roads, no running water, walking to school, no car, my family never owned a car, but my mom was the catalyst to ensure that I was going to be all that she wanted me to be. So when I think about being black, I overcame any obstacle that might have been in my way because I was black, but I overcame and succeeded in everything I've attempted, in every aspect I've attempted. I went to private schools. I graduated with honors everywhere I went. And I've been a trailblazer everywhere I've been. I was the only black officer in my battalion in Korea. I was the first black hired by IBM in Baltimore. I was in the president's office at Georgia Tech. I helped to get the holiday recognized in Cobb County for Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And I started an all-boys school in the public schools of Atlanta when people said I couldn't do it. And I've joined the 100 Black Men, which was a great organization in terms of mentoring. And I belong to Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So when you talk about what motivates me, I'm motivated by uplift to uplift others. I've had mentees who have gone on to be very successful. My mentee in the 100 Black Men, my first mentee was a female. She's now a practicing doctor. She went to Grambling, and she went on to MIT, and now she's a doctor. So when I think about what I've done, I think that my legacy that I leave behind will be excellent. I now work for the sheriff, who was the first African-American sheriff in Cobb County, and the differences that we've made in 3 years is outstanding, and his legacy, I'm sure, will be built on what he has done, and I can say that I really helped him to realize his dream and aspirations. So when I look at it, and I owe it all to my mom, my 2 sisters, and my dad, who really paved the way for me to be successful in everything that I've done. There are 2 that come to mind, and that's W.E.B. Du Bois and Dr. Martin Luther King, and my mom. So, right? Because, first of all, W.E.B. Du Bois, the high school that I would have gone to if I had not gone to the military academy was Du Bois High, if I had gone there. So early on, when I was going to go to Du Bois, I, at an early age, looked up who Du Bois was, even then, and found out that, first of all, he was a scholar, he was an orator, he was a prolific author. He went to Fisk University and to Harvard, and he was the one who championed the talented 10th. So the talented 10th. Now, he and Booker T. Washington had their differences, because Booker T. Washington said, you know, I want to include the masses to advance us, but W. Du Bois said we need to take the talented ones to advance everybody. So there was a big difference between the thinking between the 2 of them. But I really admire W. Du Bois, because if you look at his life, he was in some of the top institutions all of his life. He taught at Atlanta University, he taught at Wilberforce, and he taught at the University of Pennsylvania, and then he taught over in England. So he was the one who really said that education was the key to success. Yeah. And where he said education, and others said, Martin Luther King said, we've got to march and protest, but W. Du Bois said, if we get the education, we may not have to do that. But Martin Luther King said, no, we have to be seen, and we have to protest. Because if you put those 2 together, you've got both sides of the coin. Yeah. You've got Martin Luther King, who says, hey, we've got to really be seen and heard, and W. Du Bois said, if you go and get an education, you'll be fine. And then my mom, who said, education, education, education. She was the one who said, you must get an education if you're going to succeed in this world. And over my years, I've found out that is indeed true, because you have to be educated. Now, it takes all of us to get in this game, but education is key. Education is key. And going back to what Horace Mann said, he said, education above all human origins is the difference maker. As I think about Black History Month and what will my legacy be and what shaped my life to be where I am today, I think about 4 F's: family, friends, faith, and fraternity. Those have been my guiding light over my 87 years to where I am today.